The morning sun bathed the military academy's courtyard in a warm, golden glow. Flags flapped sharply against the clear sky. Rows of cadets stood stiff and straight, their polished boots aligned like mirrors on the marble floor. A soft wind carried the faint smell of freshly cut grass mixed with the distant aroma of tea brewing in the canteen. The entire courtyard buzzed with nervous excitement. Today wasn't just any inspection day. It was Colonel Aftab's surprise visit, a man known for his silence, his sharp eyes, and commands that carried the weight of steel. Somewhere behind the rows of cadets, an elderly cleaning man, dressed in faded khaki clothes and carrying a wooden broom, moved quietly. His back was slightly bent, his face lined with years of unseen service. No one noticed him. No one ever did. His name was Rafik. Rafik had worked at the academy for 27 years. He never raised his voice, never missed a day, and never demanded respect. He swept the same corridors where officers barked orders. He polished floors that shined beneath medals and boots. While cadets shouted commands in perfect rhythm, Rafik moved silently, humming old patriotic songs under his breath. To many, he was just the cleaner. But behind his gentle eyes lived stories no one cared to hear. As the cadets waited for the colonel's arrival, a group of young officers stood nearby, smirking. "Look at him," one whispered, pointing at Rafik. "Still sweeping like it's 1950?" Another laughed. "Hey, old man," a third officer called out loudly. "Make sure the colonel doesn't slip on your dust, huh?" Their laughter echoed against the walls. Some cadets looked uncomfortable, others looked away. Rafik paused for a moment, then quietly continued sweeping. But inside, the sting was sharp. He'd been invisible for so long, but being mocked in front of everyone, that hurt. The sound of boots marching announced the colonel's arrival. Everyone stood taller. The air tightened. "Dear friends, before the truth unfolds, take a second. If you believe no person deserves to be mocked for their job, hit that like button comments. Share this story to remind the world respect costs nothing. Subscribe to Kindness Valley, where every soul is seen." Colonel Aftab stepped onto the courtyard. His eyes swept across the formation like a hawk scanning the field. No one dared to breathe loudly. Suddenly, the colonel stopped. He turned slightly, his gaze fixed, not on the cadets, not on the officers, but on Rafik, still sweeping near the edge. Whispers started among the young officers. "Why is he looking at the cleaner? What's going on?" Then, in a low, commanding tone, the colonel whispered a single word. It was so soft, even the wind paused to listen. "Falcon." The courtyard froze. Cadets looked at each other. No one understood, except one person. Rafik stopped sweeping. His hands trembled slightly, then, with a sudden, precise movement, he snapped into a perfect military salute. His old boots clicked together. His back straightened like a soldier on parade. Gasps filled the air. What is he doing?" whispered a cadet. The colonel walked toward Rafik slowly, eyes moist. "Sergeant Major Rafik," he said softly. "I thought I'd never see that salute again." The officers who had mocked him stared in shock. Sergeant Major Rafik, once a decorated war hero, known by the code name Falcon, had saved the colonel's life in a border operation decades ago. After retirement, he chose a humble job at the academy to stay close to the soil he defended. The courtyard, once filled with arrogance and whispers, now stood in reverent silence. The colonel faced the cadets. "You see this man?" he thundered. "You walk on floors he once defended with his blood." He turned to the young officers who had mocked Rafik earlier. Their faces burned red with shame. They couldn't meet his eyes. Then, in a gesture no one expected, Colonel Aftab saluted Rafik. The entire courtyard followed. Hundreds of hands rose to their foreheads. Rafik's eyes glistened. For the first time in years, he didn't feel small. He felt seen. The same officers who laughed earlier now stepped forward and whispered apologies. But Rafik, humble as always, simply nodded and said, "Serve your country well." That's apology enough. Life has a way of revealing truths when we least expect it. The man you ignore today may hold the history that shaped your tomorrow. Never judge by appearances. True worth lives quietly, waiting to be seen. If this story touched your heart, like, comments, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Let's make kindness louder than cruelty. Let's salute every unseen hero among us.